Now there's a new form of cyber matchmaking, college networking websites. Is this perhaps the next big thing?
For over 2 decades, humans have been exposed to social media, with the number of users growing rapidly to over 2.95 billion in 2019. Though its goal is to connect users, is there anything happening behind the curtains that we don't know about?
Now that Facebook and other social media platforms are not neutral platforms, but bear some responsibility for the content.
I agree that we're responsible for the content.
We've all agreed to the terms and conditions when signing up, but how many of us have actually read them? Big corporations pay for advertisements and control what we see. Their advertising firms create montages with information that magically coincide with our views. The coronavirus, declared a pandemic on March 11th, 2020, may be a public health concern, but in the midst of its development has also become a political one. From the WHO, every governmental body, and many, many scientists, doctors, and immunologists coming forward.
What we are seeing in most of the viral infections, that when it's being passed from human to human, that it loses partially their virulent factors, so it's becoming less virulent, becoming less lethal.
The thing we're working on, we have 6-company consortium, is to look and see if the blood in 2 different forms from those recovered patients can be used as a prophylaxis or therapeutic in people who are getting sick.
A limited amount of information that's coming out about the antibody response to people who have been infected.
So how to know what is true and what is not? Who is credible and who is not? Who has a political agenda and who does not? Does social media play a part in what we see and what we don't? Does it somehow have information on us which automatically skews the type of posts we are shown? What about the divide in the United States between Republican and Democratic parties? Does this divide help or worsen the situation?
Over the last several weeks, Fox News, particularly some of its most popular hosts, have done this utterly insane about-face. They started by echoing the president's line, downplaying the coronavirus, saying it was just like the seasonal flu, that Democrats are weaponizing and hyping it, and then turned around and started saying, this is deadly serious.
We will not see diseases like the coronavirus come here. We will not see terrorism come here. And isn't that refreshing? I guess I would turn the question back on the media and ask similar questions. Does Vox want to take back that they proclaim that the coronavirus would not be a deadly pandemic? Does the Washington Post want to take back that they told Americans to get a grip, the flu is bigger than the coronavirus? Does the Washington Post likewise want to take back that our brains are causing us to exaggerate the threat of the coronavirus? Does the New York Times want to take back that fear of the virus may be spreading faster than the virus itself?
On Friday, this was re-airing, it's on YouTube right now, an entire segment, a crazy segment, claiming the Clintons and George Soros and Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci and all these people are into this plot to hurt people, to maybe establish sweeping population control. Look at the banner. It says population control through COVID-19.
Let me get this straight. You can pack 200 people into a Walmart during these lockdowns, but you're not allowed to gather 12 people in a church? You can buy weed because dispensaries are labeled essential businesses, but my sister's dance studio has been shut down for 2 months and counting. You let big box retailers stay open for business while 40% of small businesses across the country may shut down permanently because they can't keep their heads above water. You forbid children from going to school, even though kids have very low risk of COVID-19, but you force nursing homes to take COVID-19 patients, even though the elderly infirm are at very high risk from the virus.
People don't really know what to trust right now. They're not getting good information from the government. The government doesn't even necessarily have good information because the disease is so new.
Here, we see that most Americans are satisfied with the information they are getting from the news regarding the coronavirus. So this raises the question, what outlet are they listening to, since each seems to be giving contradictory information? And another question with conflicting answers. Do we need a vaccine to control and eventually eradicate COVID-19? And if so, when will it be made available?
I predicted that we would be about 2 to 3 months to go into phase 1 trials. And I think we're going to beat that. I think we'll be in probably about 6 weeks.
A vaccine will be extremely important to getting back to normal.
I feel about vaccines like I feel about tests. This is going to go away without a vaccine. It's going to go away, and we're not going to see it again.
A vaccine is what everyone is waiting for and counting on to allow us to be in close contact with each other again. But everyone will have to be vaccinated, more than 7 billion people, and ideally, it will have to happen quickly so we don't end up with some countries' economies back on track while others wait and continue to suffer.
Some say we don't need a vaccine, while others say we do, and that it will be months to even 2 years before we see it. As we can see, there are also numerous debates revolving around the treatment for COVID-19. Will it come before the vaccine? Should respirators be used? What about hydroxychloroquine? Is it a good remedy? Many experts and political figures have weighed in on the topic.
Hydroxychloroquine, which I think, as you know, it's a great malaria drug. It's worked unbelievably. It's a powerful drug on malaria. And there are signs that it works on this, some very strong signs.
So Z-Pak, which most people use, and then the hydroxychloroquine, I took it. So maybe that reduced the effects on me, but I didn't have the respiratory part, which is a real blessing.
Did you just say that you took the hydrochloroquine? I'm not. My sound
Yes,
is
ma'am.
a little weird.
Yes, I took it.
Wow. I can't believe anybody with a brain would take that stuff, but you seem like an intelligent guy. You're a representative in Congress.
Yeah.
Why would you take that drug? There are terrible consequences.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that's your view. That's not my view, and we're on the view.
One other development this morning, an Arizona man has died after he took chloroquine phosphate.
A large new study links hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine to a higher risk of death in coronavirus patients. Researchers looked at seriously ill infected patients in more than 600 hospitals worldwide, and those treated with either medication were more likely to die or develop a heart condition. Now, keep in mind, this is the drug that the president has called a game changer.
Chinese researchers studying critically ill patients on ventilators in Wuhan found in a group of 32, only one person survived. Another study from Wuhan suggests about 20% of patients on ventilators recover.
Do have breathing difficulties. These are either problems where they can't get enough oxygen into their bodies, can't breathe out enough carbon dioxide, or unable to manage the work of breathing due to an acute disease, such as in this case, COVID-19 pneumonia.
This disease has challenged everything that we believed was right 6 weeks ago.
It's different than anything we've seen before, and maybe the way we've taken care of things is not the right way of doing it.
There is a lively and healthy debate that I think is a good debate about what the right thing to do here is.
I'm concerned that if we continue on the path that we're on, that hundreds of thousands of lives and lungs may be at risk. This is just different. It's just, you have a disease we don't understand that is very deadly, with patients that are scared and staff that are scared. And on top of that, it does not appear that we have a good treatment strategy other than a ventilator. And we're not sure when to put a breathing tube in. The crux of it is we don't want to put a breathing tube in to someone who doesn't need it, knowing that there's a 70% chance they'll die. And then we don't want to not put it in to someone who would need it too late.
We don't just have contradicting information from news outlets to try and wrap our heads around, but also those of conspiracy theorists who continuously publish new information about the origins of the virus.
What if I told you that everything that you think you know about the coronavirus is a lie? That you are right now witnessing the largest, costliest, deadliest cover-up in world history. Would you believe me?
The man who is heading the pandemic task force was involved in a cover-up.
He directed the cover-up. And in fact, everybody else was paid off.
I just want to look at the facts. And so far, very few facts have been presented. I'm going to repeat this phrase I feel like a lot. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Where did the coronavirus come from? Social media is rife with claims it was weaponized in a secret laboratory designed to put a stop to exponential global population growth. Others say the new 5G mobile phone technology helps the virus spread. These pictures call for the destruction of 5G transmitter masts.
The story that Mikovits weaves, accusing members of so-called global elites like Bill Gates and Dr. Anthony Fauci of conspiring to profit from an eventual vaccine, has been viewed, believed, and reposted by millions. The film is the viral sensation of COVID-19 conspiracy theories.
And they'll kill millions, as they already have with their vaccines.
Again, zero evidence.
COVID-19 will be around for a while, at least a couple more years. With that, will keep coming the Facebook posts, tweets, Instagram stories, and YouTube videos with remedies to the virus, thoughts on how it was created, clips of government bodies reacting to it, and more. Some will downplay its severity, others will exaggerate it. But it is up to us to judge each and every piece of information's credibility. Around the world, there are so many truths and so many falsities. So how do we come to a conclusion? Do we rely on 1, 2, or 5 sources? And which sources do we rely on? Which sources can we rely on? It is up to us to be critical and to consult multiple sources to be able to adequately make up our minds. So if the world ended today, what would be your truth? It's up to you to decide which one is yours.